All right, ladies and germs, welcome to another Wednesday serial. X books. Cable for we're at the end of this, so we find out that this book is really about old Cable realizing that he needs to allow young Cable to have something to really fight for rather than trying to teach him all the things that can go wrong. And in doing so, they really make it so that these are like two separate characters, and he's almost treating him like his son. I don't know. I don't think it really worked. Um, yeah. Dead X-Men is playing off of another ill lamed future to tie into the ultimate end of this era. Um, we already had two of those. No, thank you. Stop it. Fall of X-Men moves forward in the story and is trying to make things feel more dire and play up the importance of Apocalypse, and I didn't like that particularly. The resurrection of Magneto happens to have him question which type of Magneto he's coming back as represented in three helmets: white, black, and classic red and purple. Sure. And then upon doing so, he's immediately ushered into the events to wrap up this era. Um, Rise of the Powers of X happens, and Xavier's a jerk. It turns out. What what a what a twist. Um, X-Men 34 happens, and it turns out Xavier's kind of a dick, but also all the robots are trying to kill everyone, not just humanity, but they're also just trying to protect humanity. I don't think they thought it through. Um, that's a mess. And Wolverine's off to go kill Xavier because he's kind of a. Okay. Hey, there's X Men Forever. Um, which one is this? Oh yeah, this is trying to give a moment of, if you remember, a lot of the non-major characters, because they're in their heart they matter, which is trying to be a story about everybody matters, but ultimately proving that they don't. Um, yeah, that's gonna be forgotten. And then we move to the Wolverine section. Weapon X-Men um, moves forward. This is trying to play on a bunch of different X-Men, and this one's playing off of the Earth X1, where Wolverine and Jean get together and they have a like dissatisfied marriage, and you find some meaning in that. Anyways, I don't know. And then this moves the plot forward. Then we're gonna get it wrapped up. Madripoor Knights #3 moves forward, and Black Widow gets kidnapped, and now Captain America and Wolverine are gonna go save her. Okay. Um, and this one I'm particularly disappointed in because I've been a big proponent and fan of a lot of the more recent Claremont books. I found a lot more in them and whatnot. The fact he felt this was some story I had to come back to, and it is the most just boilerplate action movie. There's nothing to it. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It is the biggest waste of time I've seen from him in years. And it's just lined up with the rest of this disappointment of the fall. Hey, and then you have Sabretooth War 7 and 8, where characters are getting crossed off, and we have the Council of Wolverines versus the Council of Sabretooths. And action is happening. Um, and we're building to a climax, I guess, but I don't know. This started out one way, and it could have been a really good Wolverine X-Men bloodbath, but now it's just been dragged on, and now we're at a point where, hey, if you want to kill Wolverine, what do you have to do? You have to take away his powers. Okay, I don't know if everybody remembers, but when this started 48 issues ago, it was the return of Wolverine with his powers, status quo wise, because he just got his powers taken away and died. So now we're ending this run with taking away his powers so he could potentially be killed, which probably won't happen, but still is just. It's this recursive set of ideas with these characters, and like you can't do anything new with them no matter what the build is anymore. And this ends on his powers are taken away, so he's in adamantium armor with the sword from the dumb sword event that happened. Okay. There's World War III with Deadpool and Wolverine. This is playing if Deadpool gets sucked into something and then Wolverine has to save him so that they can get his will back, but he doesn't necessarily care about it. This is clearly happening because of the movie. This was kind of a fun read in the build up to where they were going. We'll see where it lands. Yeah, I don't have a lot positive to say here. And I should note, even the biggest fans of Krakoa's era isn't very happy with basically any of these issues. And people who are more excited for X-Men in general are really excited to see what happens next because none of them seem particularly excited about these issues. I haven't found anyone speaking positively about these at all. And so I don't know. I just felt like adding that. I mean, this is really ultimately my opinion, and that's all that matters here per se. And I'd be curious to hear yours if you have any, but this is a pretty bad batch of books, and I have like, as much as I don't like, especially Dugan as a creator right now on these books, I think you can kind of tell nobody's happy with this. I think either the creators believe in Krakoa and wanted to continue, and now they don't get to, and then nothing good's coming out of that. And the way that they're ending it doesn't feel like it was in the spirit of what had happened. And I don't know. What I'm curious about is 2, 3 years from now, when this is part of the Krakoan era, how is this going to be talked about? Is this going to be like JMS leaving Spider-Man, where a lot of people like the first half, but the second half, not so much? Um, or is this going to really tank people's memory of the entire thing? And a lot of the criticisms that I've started to see cropping up more from more people, and pointing to things that Hickman pointed to in interviews and whatnot about how things work, and how unsettling certain aspects were supposed to be, come through a bit more. I don't know. It's interesting. It was interesting to read through this era of X-Men, but it's very clear you needed more conscious writers to continue through because they didn't grok what was being set up fully. They just saw one aspect of it and wanted to carry through, which did not make for good storytelling at the very least. So, yeah. Cheers. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon.